Good morning or good afternoon from wherever you are in the world. My name is Simon Connolly, and I'm the head of small and medium business advertising for Australia and New Zealand here at Spotify. Today, alongside my colleague, Dan Kelly, we're going to take you through our self-serve advertising platform, Ad Studio. Ad Studio allows advertisers of all sizes to create and deliver targeted audio and video campaigns on Spotify. I want to thank you for making the time to join us today in the call, and I hope that you get the most out of today's session. So for today's playlist, I'm going to give you a quick overview of Spotify advertising here in Australia and New Zealand. We're going to talk about who's listening in our Aussie and Kiwi audiences. Then we're going to give you a deep dive into the Ad Studio platform itself, our self-serve ads manager, and how digital audio ads can benefit your business, including a live demonstration of the Ad Studio UI. And we're going to end with a Q&A, so you can ask us questions about your experience with the platform. Some housekeeping, I should say up top of the call. Everyone on the call today is muted, and the chat and raise hand features have been disabled, but we still really do want to hear from you. So if you wish to ask a question throughout the presentation, simply use the question and answer feature in Zoom, and we'll either address your question right there in the chat, or if it requires a bit more of a detailed response, we'll use the allocated time at the end of today's presentation to answer. Please do ask as many questions as possible. We really do love hearing from all of you. And finally, a recorded version of today's session will be available after the call for on-demand viewing for those who couldn't make it today. Okay, I can see a few people still trickling in. So for those of us just joining, let me once again say welcome to today's webinar, an intro to Ad Studio. And without further ado, we'll dive into the content. Today, Spotify is the world's most popular audio streaming platform. And we've built a trusted relationship with our audience of fans from all over the world. Our listeners use Spotify to soundtrack their daily lives across a variety of content, context, and devices. Today, Spotify is the most used digital audio platform in Australia and New Zealand. There are more than 433 million people streaming music and podcasts on Spotify every month. 245 million of those listeners are on our ad-supported platform, which means brands can connect with them wherever and whenever they're streaming music. You can reach this audience worldwide, as we're now in 183 countries across the globe. And right here in Australia, according to latest Comscore figures, we have over 11 million unique users monthly. 55% of our users are on the ad-supported platform. And our reach across Australia and New Zealand is continuously growing. As mentioned, today, Spotify is the most used digital audio platform in Australia. In fact, more than a third of the entire online Australian population are using Spotify on a weekly basis. And because we're discussing the ad-supported or the free version of Spotify, you may think that this audience is limited to just one demographic, perhaps 16 plus. But as you can see here, no matter your target audience, you are able to reach them on Spotify. This includes that much coveted Gen Z market. Currently, more than 1 in 2 Gen Z adults can be reached in Australia through Spotify. Spotify complements your media mix. No matter what other media channels you're currently using, Spotify is able to provide unique, incremental audiences when added to your plans. Whether that is traditional media partners such as radio and TV, where we can provide over 20% unique weekly incremental reach, or 18% when added to your audiences you're able to reach through digital social media platforms. Spotify engages those hard-to-reach audiences across all consumer categories. If you, like many brands out there, are looking to reach affluent, young, educated Kiwis and Aussies, Spotify is the platform to reach them. AU millennials are 33% more likely to be found on Spotify than on radio, and 44% more likely than on TV. To take advantage of this reach and this scale, we recommend Spotify's self-serve ad platform, Ad Studio, as it delivers more for advertisers. So the concept of self-serve ad platforms is nothing new in social media advertising. In audio advertising, especially in radio, it hasn't really been offered at this scale before. Spotify's self-serve ad platform allows you better performance, since you can make real-time optimizations based on data. Our platform allows you to have more transparency and control versus traditional insertion orders, since you can choose your own campaign objective, easily test and scale without having to wait for an account rep. And finally, our self-serve ad platform allows you more efficiency because it allows multiple folks on a team to be working on a single account all at the same time with flexible workflows. Spotify's platform also delivers a better experience for our listeners with personalization. So based on our first-party streaming data, we deliver personalized ad experience tailored to listeners' interests. Contextual relevance. Not only are our ads personalized for listeners, they're served across the moments and devices where each listener is most receptive to that message, which leads to a better listening experience. And engagement. Our ad products and technology offer more opportunities for listeners to engage with and take action on the ads that they hear. And our listener research has proved this out. 75% of Spotify listeners say they remember ads more when the ads recognize their moment or setting. And 61% of Spotify listeners say Spotify audio ads help them discover new brands and products. Because ads on Spotify aren't just ads, they're part of the show. When people immerse themselves in music on Spotify, they trust us to know their taste and get their algorithm just right. The same holds true for ads that they experience on the platform. As an advertiser, you are part of the Spotify listening experience. All right, now that you have heard a little bit from me about the scale of Spotify's platform, and we learned a little bit about who's listening across the Australia-New Zealand region, let's talk about how self-serve advertising actually works on Spotify. I'm now going to hand you over to my colleague, Dan, who's going to take you through the Ad Studio platform itself. Dan.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Simon. Hi, guys. I am Dan. I know I can't see you or hear you, but nice to be able to speak to you today. I'm Dan, or DK, and I'm a growth account manager here at Spotify Ad Studio. Firstly, I'm going to have to apologize. I have like a minute cold, so you're getting like husky voice Dan today. So hopefully that's enjoyable for you all out there. But a little bit about me. So as a growth account manager at Spotify Ad Studio, it's really my role to help advertisers get the most success out of their campaigns on platform. And I am super pumped because I get to take you through Ad Studio in a bit more detail today. I'm going to actually do a live demo. We love a live demo. I'm going to run through that in a little bit. But before we get to that, I did want to talk through some key benefits of Ad Studio to kind of, wet the palate, so to speak. So as a self-serve platform, Ad Studio is really designed with speed, flexibility, and control, like coded into the DNA of the platform itself, so that you as advertisers can get, your ads up on Spotify, with ease. We have powerful targeting options available based on our first-party data, and those can be applied across multi-format solutions. We also have a free audio ad creative tool built into the platform. I'm going to bang on about this one today. It's free for everyone to use when you set up your campaigns, just to make sure that you guys get the most stellar audio ads up on Spotify as well. And once you're live, you'll have real-time reporting, insights, and data to help you optimize that campaign that's currently live and then all future campaigns as well. I'm going to jump into each of these points in a bit more detail. However, I did want to take the opportunity, firstly, to make a note of our latest product evolution here at Ad Studio, which is the introduction of auction-based pricing. We are super pumped with this launch. It just launched a few weeks ago, so it's very fresh. And as you can see, with the launch of auction pricing, it means you can now, bid for audio and video ads that run within music straight on Ad Studio itself. So, I mentioned that flex and control up the top a little bit earlier. And with the launch of auction pricing, those two factors are more true for you as advertisers on Ad Studio. In terms of control, you have control over objectives that you want your campaigns to optimize towards, which is awesome. And then also you have greater flex in terms of, the bid caps you're willing to pay for particular audiences on Ad Studio as well. Once you're live, our Ad Studio algorithm is going to optimize towards your campaign goals, just as well as, Spotify. The Spotify algorithm delivers you new music each week. So just want to give you a quick note there on the launch of Auction and how speed, flex, and control are really at the heart of that product evolution. But that being said, like speed, flex, and control have always been, a key part of Ad Studio. In terms of speed, you can create and submit a campaign really in minutes, which I'll show you in that demo in a second. In terms of flexibility, we have a min spend of $250 per ad set, and that's in local currency. So if you're in Australia, it's 250 AUD. If you're in New Zealand, it's 250 NZ. And that allows advertisers of all different sizes to test and learn on Spotify, test out different creative strategies, targeting strategies with that min spend there. And then in terms of control, you're really in the driver's seat when it comes to your campaigns on Ad Studio. Throughout, the flighting of a campaign, you can jump in, you can adjust your targeting, change your creative, your budget, and your bid cap throughout. So you really have that control throughout your Ad Studio campaign lifecycle. So in terms of audience, as Simon mentioned earlier in the session, we as Spotify are the #1 digital audio platform globally. So in terms of what that means for you as advertisers, is it means you have great scale, but it also means you have some really great options to get quite targeted with your particular audiences on Ad Studio as well. So all of our targeting solutions are based on first-party data from our users. And this is what we like to call our streaming intelligence, very fun term there. And it's just a really a way that summarizes all the behavior on platform that informs these audiences and these targeting solutions. So you can start with demographic-based targeting, such as age and gender, as well as layering in geo-based targeting. So everything from, country level down to states, regions, cities, and postcodes as well. And then beyond that, we have some more advanced targeting options. I like to call these spicier targeting options, which I'll show you in the platform, but just to give you a quick overview of those, we have audience interest targeting that you can check out and include. We have real-time context and moments to make sure your ads are heard in particular moments through a listener's day. And then we also have genre-based targeting as well. A quick tip from me, when I'm working with advertisers on their Ad Studio campaigns, I always recommend, just testing different audience strategies, just to see, who is really resonating with your campaign, with your brands, with those types of targetings and, different creative formats as well. So definitely recommend having a play around with those targeting options. And on those creative formats, great little segue there. On Ad Studio, we have multi-format solutions available for advertisers. And these formats are really designed to engage and not interrupt the listener experience. And that's kind of for two main connected reasons, if you think about it. The first reason is it just creates a better user experience for our listeners, which is, what we want at the end of the day in terms of the Spotify product. And then that in turn will lead to greater results for you as brands because you're really connecting with listeners in a more organic, one-to-one intimate setting with ads that are suited towards them as well. In terms of those formats, so we have both audio and video placements available, as you can see on that fun screenshot on your screen there. And then in terms of video, you can run either a horizontal or a vertical placement. Some other keynotes, all the audio and video ads run between 6 to 30 seconds in terms of, the length of the ad spot themselves. And all of the ads run with a clickable companion banner, which can drive engagement to your URL as well. And I can't hear you, but I can hear you in my head saying, Dan, this sounds amazing. I can't wait to run audio ads on Ad Studio, but I don't have any audio ad creative. Oh no. Well, solution for you, as mentioned at the top, we have that free audio creative tool literally built into Ad Studio for you to use as well. I'll say it once, I'll say it 10 times, it's free for you to create the audio ads with all the campaigns you set up. And as free as it is, it's also super simple to, get those ad spots made. There's 3 simple steps. So firstly, you'll write your scripts and pick your background music that you want for the ad spot. Secondly, our professional voiceover actors will record the spot, we'll mix it for you. And then finally, all you need to do is jump into the Ad Studio platform, review the ad, and then get it to go live. So Super simple, easy as do, re, mi, as it says on the screen there. Another tip, like I always recommend advertisers just take advantage of this tool. It's free, so like you might as well. Even just to like test and learn different strategies. Like when you think about it, unlimited free audio production is really unlimited potential to test how different audiences resonate with different types of creative. So you can apply it, say, for example, if you're reaching a particular demographic like age and gender, you can make sure that the voiceover artist profile matches that to resonate and connect with that listener as well. And then taking it a bit deeper, you can create ad spots where, you know, the actual ad creative and the scripts are tailored to specific moments as well, just to make sure it really resonates in those particular contexts too. So all these types of testing strategies will help kind of provide you with a wealth of data and information to help you inform, you know, the current campaign, future campaigns on Spotify, but then, you know, also broader digi strategies too. So definitely take advantage of this if you're setting up a campaign on Ad Studio. And in terms of all that rich data, so we have real-time reporting built into Ad Studio, so you can check out all your results whenever you need to. So what are those types of metrics that you can check out? Everything from awareness level, so, you know, impressions, reach, frequency of the audience, down to more engagement type metrics. So think, you know, clicks, completion rates, click-through rates as well. And then, you know, in Ad Studio, you can also segment all those results by demographics, by genre, and by device, just to see where the most success is coming from for your ad sets and your campaigns too. Some other handy call outs from a reporting lens. You can schedule reports to land straight into your inbox for ease. And then also you can integrate Ad Studio into any third-party API dashboards that you might be using, such as, you know, the likes of Datarama and Supermetrics, which allows you to really customize the way that you're checking out all the awesome results on your Spotify Ad Studio campaigns. So just a few key tips there too. Okay, awesome. So now that we've gone through all those kind of key benefits and a bit of a summary around why you'd you know, want to tap into Ad Studio, what I'd love to do now is jump into the platform, give you that live demo just to show you how easy it is to really set up a campaign on Ad Studio as well. So bear with me as I navigate towards a new tab, and also keep those questions coming in. I can see there's a bunch coming through, so thank you for those. So here is something I prepared earlier. Opens cloche. Okay, so this is you'll navigate to Ad Studio, sorry, by ads.spotify.com. Don't worry about writing down like the URL. We'll send all this information out to you, you know, post webinar. But this is where you'll navigate towards Ad Studio. So ads.spotify.com is pretty much our home for everything you need in terms of getting started on the platform. It has all the information around our ad products, all that targeting I spoke about before. And then also has this really handy resources section as well. So it has inspiration, creative inspiration, and a help center too. Just to make sure that you set up for success with all your campaigns on Ad Studio too. So for today, we're going to focus on managing ads and creating a campaign. So to do that, you'll press the Manage Ads button, which, you know, makes sense. I have an account already set up, so it's going to take me straight to my dashboard. But if it is your first time, you know, using Ad Studio, it's going to prompt you to create an account. Super simple, just pop in a few bits of information, and that'll be ready to go for you. So the dashboard, this is the dashboard. Say hello to the dashboard. This gives you a view of all your campaigns in one place. So some key call outs here. You can check out all the reporting for your live campaigns that you have up and running. You can also check on your account information here. So toggle between different accounts if you have multiple accounts there. And then you can also check out your Ad Studio individual user information there too. The main thing that we're going to focus on today is creating a campaign. So you can see there's a big, nice button that says create campaign. But before we do that, just a quick note on the structure of Ad Studio campaign. So there's three different kind of layers in the structure. You have the campaign layer, the ad set layer, as you can kind of see them just here as well, campaign, ad set, and then you have the ad level as well. But we'll go through each of those in a bit more detail as we create a campaign. So without further ado, let's create a campaign. So the first step is at the campaign level, fun enough. And this is really just where you choose what you're advertising on Ad Studio. So there's three options here. You can choose to be a brand, product, or organization promoting your brand to listeners on Spotify, which is for the most part mostly what advertisers would be choosing. Then Then we also have two music-specific targeting advertising options here as well. So if you're promoting an artist's music on Spotify as a musician or a label, you can choose that one. Or you can choose to promote a concert or artist merch. So I'm going to rock and roll with the first option today, brand, product, or organization. And then also what you'll do is you'll name your campaign objective. So you can see that there is a bit of a naming convention recommendation there that you can use, including the brand, the location, and the dates. For today's session, I'm going to, visualize that I'm a gym franchisor in Australia. It's going to be called DK's Gyms. Great ring to it. And so I'll set it DK's Gym as the name, Australia, and September, and then promoting it as a brand, product, organization. The final thing down here you'll see is you have the option to include a PO number if you are on invoice billing, just so it all matches up in that billing section for you. Or alternatively, you can also just be paying by a credit card or a debit card for your Spotify campaigns too. So once you're happy with all that information, you'll press next, and that will take you to the next section, which is the ad set layer. So the ad set layer is everything that you'll choose in terms of the format you're looking to run, your target audience. This is where you'll choose, your budget, your scheduling, and all your bidding information in relation to the auction as well. So once again, you'll start by naming the ad set to refer to later. Again, there's a bit of a naming convention that you can use, just whatever is going to make it easy for you to refer to later, basically. Next, you'll choose the format. So just to recap, we have those three different options here, audio, and then you also can choose video in either a horizontal or a vertical placement there. We're going to go with audio for today. Next, you'll choose your target audience. So who do you want to, hear this ad? You'll start with geographic targeting. So that starts with a country basis. So for today, I'm going to go with Australia. You also have the option here, you can see where it says locations just there. You can include more specific granular targeting, such as, particular states, cities, postcodes. You can pop them in there super simply as well. But for this one, I'm going to rock and roll with targeting all of the country by pressing that button there. Next, you're going to choose the demographics. So firstly, age, you can go all ages, or you can pick particular ages here, just with these options that you see where the mouse is. I'm going to go with all ages for today, and then also targeting all genders too. Now, as mentioned in the deck a little earlier, we do have those more advanced targeting options available for you as well. I like to call them the spicy ones. So first of all, you have interest-based targeting. Again, this is all based on the content consumed by our listeners on platform that informs particular interests that they might have. So say, for example, I'm owning this gym. I might want to reach people who have interests in, let's say, sports and recreation, running, fitness, health and lifestyle. That would make sense. So you can choose all of those and those will layer together. The next option is real-time context. So this is, targeting people in specific moments throughout their day. I might want to reach people during the workout moment, so I click that. Or you can get quite creative, reach people, as they're gaming, chilling, and kind of subvert that message using that free audio creative tool as well. Finally, you can also do genre-based targeting, or you can rock and roll with no additional targeting, which I'm going to do for today. Next is your budget and your schedule. So the budget you set is the lifetime budget for this particular ad set. There's a few options here. You can pop in a custom amount. I'm going to go with 5K for this one. And then you choose your schedule. So this is a super simple calendar widget. I'm going to go for all of September, select it like that. The final section is the bidding section. So this is all connected to the launch of auction. So it's the latest part of Ad Studio here. And there's a few quick steps. So firstly, you'll choose the goal that you want this particular ad set to optimize towards. So for now, you can choose between ad completes or reach. I'm going to go with ad completes here. And then next, you'll just set your bid cap. So this is the maximum amount to bid in that auction for this audience. To make it easy for you, you'll see just down the bottom here, Ad Studio actually provides a recommendation range for the bid cap. And this is based on, the UI and the audience data over the last 7 days. So you can see that bid range down here is 0.026 to 0.032 cost per complete listen. So I'm going to pop in 0.028, just kind of in the middle there. So once you pop that in, you'll see on the right-hand side here, we have what we call the audience sizer on Ad Studio. And there's a few callouts here that you want to just check. So firstly is, does your bid cap look okay? So this will say whether or not your bid cap is a good match to, win auctions for this audience. And as you can see here, it says it looks good. It's got a green tick. We love a green tick. That's a good sign. So that's all good there. The next step is the estimated results. So, based on the budget, your target audience, and your flighting, it's going to show estimations around ad completes, reach, and frequency as well. So just give those a check over, make sure those look all okay in terms of those estimations. And then you can move forward to the final step of the campaign creation, which is the ad section. And this is really everything to do with the creative that you want to run. So once again, we'll start by naming the ad itself to refer to later. I'm going to call this one audio creative 1, and then include the call to action button just to refer to. So learn more. Next, you'll choose the audio asset that you want to include in the ad itself. So there's two options. You can upload your own audio you have ready to go, or you can create a new audio spot using that free audio tool that I mentioned earlier. I don't know if I mentioned it. I think I've said it quite a few times now. And just to recap how simple it is to use, all you need to do is pop in your scripts. You can include any voiceover instructions for the voiceover actor. So, emotion, tone, speed. Choose the language you want the scripts recorded in, and then the voice profile. So, the demographics of the voiceover artists themselves. You'll then choose background music to include. And then once you submit the campaign, that will go through to be created for you. But for the purposes of today, I'm actually going to just upload my own audio like this. So just a super simple drag and drop like that. And you'll see the audio start to upload like that. Amazing. Once that's done, you'll then choose the image. So this is that companion banner that runs alongside the ad. It's a really great kind of branding piece from a visual perspective. And where it sits is normally where, like the album artwork would sit, or the podcast kind of artwork would sit. Again, you can upload a banner yourself. It's a 640 by 640 pixel in terms of the specs. Or alternatively, you can select one of our super fun, colorful banners here to go as well. I'm feeling in a purpley mood, so I'm going to go for the purple one today and select that and then pop that in there. Then you'll see on the right-hand side, you get a bit of an ad preview of how the ad will look, on both a mobile format and then also in terms of desktop as well. The final section here is the text and the buttons. So think of this as all the micro copy that surrounds the ad itself. So that's, advertiser name, any taglines you have, and then the call to action button as well. So for this one, I am DK's Gyms. Amazing. In terms of the tagline, I have come up with this one, work out hard, play hard. And then also in terms of call to action button, you can choose from a few different options here that you want to get that action driven by the ad itself by the listeners. Choose the language you want it in. And then finally, all you need to do is pop in that URL link. So where do you want the ad to click out to? You just pop that in there. And then once you're happy with all those three layers, so your campaign, your ad set, and your ad, you'll press next, and that will submit your campaign to go through for approvals. And that is really it in terms of your setup. Once that does go through to our awesome approval team, that will take between 1 to 2 days to be reviewed, just to make sure it all looks and sounds amazing before going live on the platform itself. So I've jumped back into the dashboard just to kind of cover off a few final tips and tricks for you. So you might have spotted this for review section just there. Basically, if you've elected to use that free audio creative production tool, this is where you'll find the spots back for your review. So you can listen to any spots, you can download, send any feedback and approve those to go live, all in the platform. And then a final note, once you're live with your campaigns, you can check out all the reporting data here down in your dashboard and cut that by campaign level, by the ad sets, and by the ads as well. A quick reminder that, throughout the course of any campaign, you can jump in, make tweaks to that targeting, throw in any other creatives that you want to, change that bid cap. Again, you're really in control of the campaigns through Ad Studio as well. So hopefully that was a helpful way of showing how easy it is to get set up with your first, campaign on Ad Studio. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to Simon to lead us to the Q&A section for today.
Thank you, Dan. So we'll now open up to questions. So anything you have that we presented or any questions you have on the platform, you can use the Q&A feature within Zoom to submit those questions. I can see there's quite a few there already. So we're going to try to get through as many as we can today. If we don't get to your question, or If perhaps your question requires a bit more of a one-to-one setting, it's very specific to your experience or your campaign, I promise you we're going to follow up with everybody in the call to make sure all your questions are answered. What I'm going to do as well is I'm going to try to group these into a kind of a few themes. Can I see a couple of questions all around similar topics? So to kick things off, there's a couple of questions that are about our reach, so our scale. So how many users on a regional breakdown between Australia and New Zealand, and what's the percentage of users on the free versus on Spotify Premium? So we're not able to give out our first party metrics at a country or at a regional level. What I can share with you, as you mentioned, is globally 55% of our total users are on the ad-supported platform itself. We do have quite a strong coverage across all of Australia and New Zealand in terms of regions and any kind of specific targeting you may do. What I do recommend is sort of what DK ran you through today. If you go into the UI, you build out a campaign, you put in the targeting you're looking for, you put in anything you want to layer on that in terms of demographics or interests, you're going to see that estimate and the bid and what you'll be able to deliver in terms of results. So always best practice is to go into the UI itself, build out that campaign, and you're going to get a very accurate kind of estimation of where we will be able to deliver for that audience. There are also a number of questions about where the ads themselves play. So I should say that, of course, all of our ads and everything we're talking about today through Ad Studio are only served on the ad-supported or the free version of Spotify, so not reaching our premium users who do not hear ads in their music environment. Now, this kind of relates to a similar question that we're getting a lot about, and I may throw to you, DK, on this one, is are we able to target podcasts through the Ad Studio currently?
Yeah, sorry, just had to go off mute there. Yeah, good question. So at the moment, podcast targeting isn't available on Ad Studio in Australia and New Zealand. All of the ad placements do run across our music placements, as Simon just mentioned, but we do have the ability to do, that interest-based targeting I mentioned earlier. You can target users who recently listened to podcast content, so you know that they are podcast, like lovers, and you can reach them in that particular way, is one kind of thought. And then another option is that we do have a direct business who do, host reads and those other types of podcast kind of placements too. So can always put you in contact with another member of the team to work through those as well.
Thanks, DK. Another one I may direct your way. A lot of questions around the free audio ad creation tool. I kind of trying to group these in thematically, but I think probably one of the big ones is coming out is how long would it take for the voiceover ads to come back for review typically?
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear that there's big love for the audio production tool because it is my personal favorite part of Ad Studio, kind of mentioned it a few times. But good question. In terms of the speed of it getting turned back, it's super speedy. You'll have the spot for review in Ad Studio within 1 to 2 days. And then once it's back for review, either you love it, that's awesome, and you can press approve for it to go live, or you also have the ability to send any feedback. Say you wanted a particular phrase said a different way or make any tweaks, you can also manage that all within the platform as well. So you have that flexibility there too.
Thank you. A question around postcode targeting. So this is a question based on how do we determine user location? User location is determined by IP. So again, that ads.spotify, that website that Dan mentioned, you can see there in the help guide and resources, there is a breakdown that you're able to find out exactly how do we determine our targeting options, what the targeting options are available to you as well. And of course, should you already be in or create an account within Ad Studio UI itself, you'll be able to see all those targeting options and explore a little bit further with the help section in there as well. Couple of ads that are asking about creative support. So what type of ads work best? Is it video or audio? What do we recommend in terms of using voiceover? Some particular questions around promoting music for record labels. Is it more audio to be used or more voiceover? I think, I mean, I'll throw to you, DK, to get some insight, but I would say just in general, the nature of the self-serve ad platform, we really recommend a test and learn approach. So as we've talked about, we have the free audio ad creation tool. So you're free to experiment with variations. You can even, when looking at voiceover, you can use different types of voices, as we saw the different options: female voice, older voices, younger voices. And you can see that real-time reporting and really get a sense of what's actually working, because what works for each individual advertiser is unique based on what you're trying to promote and what you're trying to achieve. But DK, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about some of the resources we have available to clients as well in terms of guides for audio creation.
Yeah, for sure. I would say two things on that. Firstly, in that ads.spotify.com page that I shared a little bit earlier, which we can link out after this, there is that resources section, and that is like literally such a wealth of information in terms of best practices when it comes to your audio creative on platform. What resonates, it gives examples of, kind of best practice audio ads you can listen to, get inspiration from, and kind of hear, how you should be crafting those awesome scripts to speak to individual users. So I'd say that is like one point there. But I would also say, you can reach out to us, like as a growth account manager. I'm just one of many other awesome account managers here at Ad Studio. So you can always reach out to us. We're here to kind of support from a strategic lens and help you with any creative support and, ideation that you might need to. So I would say those two parts is those resources, and then also we're on hand to help as you need as well.
Thanks, Dan. Some questions here again around payment options and the 250 minimum. So we'll probably start by saying, yeah, the default payment options are credit and debit cards. So all major cards are accepted across Australia and New Zealand. And there is also the option for invoice payment. That is on a case-by-case basis, and there's some criteria. Should you require invoice payment, again, we will follow up after this call. You can reach out to us. Right now, specific to this question, PayPal is not available within Ad Studio UI at the moment as a payment option. Another question is concerning that 250 minimum. The question surrounds what the number of ads you can get for that. We should say that 250 minimum doesn't relate to the ad creation or anything in that regards. That is just the minimum amount that you can deposit within your account to get started. Then obviously what you actually get charged for is going to be based entirely on results that deliver onto the platform based on your creative. So setting your bid, setting your budget, setting your flight dates as appropriate. There are also some questions concerning around what are the optimal flight dates as well. So how long do we recommend campaigns running for? Again, it really varies on what you're trying to promote. What are your objectives? I would recommend strongly, the resources available on ads.spotify, or again, we're happy to follow up to have those kind of one-to-one conversations with an account manager to strategize around what we think would be best for flight dates based on what you're trying to promote. A question here around language targeting. So is Maori available as a language? I would say, unfortunately, not right now, but it is fantastic feedback to get, obviously, from our Kiwi advertisers as well. And that's something we'll definitely take back to our products teams globally as well. Just going through the questions as well. How long are audio ads? So our audio ads are a maximum of 30 seconds on the platform as well. DK, a question is in terms of what we can do in terms of targeting. Again, I know you ran through a little bit in this, but in terms of genres, podcasts, if you can touch a little bit about what the targeting options are as well.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, you have kind of, first of all, the demographic based targeting, which is, age and gender. But then you also have those more advanced targeting. So as chatted a little bit earlier, first of all, is interest-based targeting. So that is kind of based on the way that, our listeners consume content on platforms. So for example, if they are, smashing like a workout playlist, smashing like workout fitness kind of content, we can kind of get an understanding and a picture of them as being, a workout enthusiast. So we can categorize them in that way in terms of those interest type targetings. There's also different types of, business interests, science, you have like education, a whole host of different interests as well, which are mostly informed by, podcast listening consumption as well. So it can really be quite strategic in the way that you are kind of targeting users based on the content that they have engaged with from a music and podcast lens. So the interests, and then also the one I think is really useful and interesting to use is that contextual moment-based targeting as well. So this is all based on real-time playlist content. So for example, if someone is listening to a dinner, like cooking playlist, you can reach people as they're listening to that type of content as well, which provides some really interesting opportunities for you as advertisers to, one, align your brand with those types of moments, but then to also align the creative to suit those moments and speak to those moments as well, just so it kind of is extra resonant with our listeners too. So hope that helps answer the question there.
Thanks, Dan. We'll probably wrap up. Apologies again if we didn't get to your questions. Lots of fantastic questions as well, guys. So thank you so much for that. Just some questions coming in around retargeting. Again, Dan, I might throw to you to see, is that, what are the options around that currently on Ad Studio?
Yeah, really awesome question. So at the moment in its current state, Ad Studio doesn't support, retargeting pixels or those types of third-party, tracking in that way. But, the Ad Studio platform is constantly being evolved. Even before, when I was, mentioning the launch of Auction, which was only a few weeks ago, which was a huge launch, just kind of demonstrates the fact that, Ad Studio as a platform is constantly being like innovated on, and things in terms of audience, and, things in terms of tracking and things that are definitely on the radar for the platform, but just don't exist at this point. So definitely stay tuned for future updates when it comes to what's available on Ad Studio.
Thanks, Dan. A couple of quick ones here. Can you frequency cap? Yes is the answer. So to preserve the listening experience, there is a default frequency cap of no one advertiser can have their ad run more than 5 times to a single user in a 24-hour period. However, between that 1 and 5, you can customize that. So again, based on what you want to achieve, you can set your frequency cap between 1 and 5 in a 24-hour period. 2 last ones, again, that I might defer to yourself, Dan. One is, are we able, with the free audio ad creation tool, are we able to download those assets and use them in other channels?
Good question. Short answer is no. You can't use those across different channels. Those assets can only be used across Spotify Ad Studio. You can, however, download the asset and listen to it. If you need to share it to other team members, you can download it and share it easily just to get feedback and approval. But no, it can only be used on Ad Studio itself.
Thank you. And final question. This one is directed personally to you, Dan. Does Dan still play the keyboard? If so, what is his favorite 80s song to play?
I mean, I can bring it out and play a little bit now. No, just joking. Honestly, any Taylor Swift cover, I'm all here for it. So please email some Taylor Swift requests and I can record those for you as well.
Thank you, Dan. That probably concludes. We'll wrap up the Q&A session there. Apologies. I know we weren't able to answer all the questions in the time allocated. I do promise we will follow up with everybody after this, make ourselves available to answer some of those questions and go a little bit deeper around some of the very specific questions some of you asked there as well. So thank you so much. So to wrap up, here's what you've heard from us today. Spotify is the world's most popular audio streaming platform, and our addressable audience across Australia and New Zealand continues to grow rapidly. Our self-serve ad platform delivers more value for advertisers and a better experience for listeners. Our unique first-party insights fuel your ads and people's listening experiences, which means advertisers can connect with customers in more of the moments that matter. Ad Studio helps advertisers of all sizes to be heard on Spotify. Spotify's self-serve solutions make it easy to build, to manage campaigns, and create professional audio ads for completely free, and ultimately help you grow your business. That concludes today's session. I want to thank you again for your time and your questions. We will be in touch after this event, but if you want to get started, you don't have to wait for us. All you can do is visit the URL that's on screen now. Once you can get started, create that first campaign. Once you're up and running, our team will also proactively reach out to you to help guide you on your journey. I want to thank you again for all your time today and all the great questions. Apologies we didn't get to all of them, and I really hope you enjoyed today's session. Thank you.